uh, switch to share the screen, and I'll kind of just briefing you on what we did yesterday and what I was hoping that I could ask you about this week. Yesterday we just talked about testing. This is graduation month for almost all the schools in the country. If they're not doing it on a monthly basis, they're doing it on a quarterly basis. So everything's happening here in September. So yes, I just talked about the importance of testing. That's really the glue for retention. If students are making progress, they have high interest, they have high interest, they have high attendance. If they have high attendance, they're going to graduate more, and just goes on and on. So that's number one for making sure you have like a really, really solid graduation experience. Then we talked about revenue. I don't know how many people are charging testing fees. With the people I work with, I would say the majority charge testing fees. They usually have them do an intent to promote, hand in the intent to promote, and the people just bring a check or throwing some money down on the table. If you have 300 people graduating, even 100 people graduating, that's a lot of business that you're doing, just exchanging that money in those applications. So I know we can do that automated through Rainmaker, so that would be a big thing. Next thing I think about when I do graduations is prospecting. I want to make sure all my students know about it. I want to make sure they invite families and friends, because every time they bring family and friends, I have the opportunities to sign on extra students. If we can give them invitations to VIPs, I really love it if my students bring their school teachers. Because if I have the school teachers and I have a VIP section, I have a really good opportunity to talk to all the teachers, show them exactly what we do, build rapport. I even give them a free membership. I talk about our school talks. So I just love to have VIPs if I can get them there. And another thing I did when I was in Florida, I used to do graduations on a monthly basis. I had a nice school on a busy traffic, usually like 60,000 cars a day. When I did graduation, I would put a huge banner saying demonstration Friday night at 7 o'clock. Because to me, my graduation was a demonstration. If I can get people just coming in thinking, okay, this is just an open house demonstration, again, I'm getting some prospects. So revenue would be another one. Prospecting is the second one. And I was just wondering, with your expertise on Rainmaker, how we can automate some of the stuff to get it done more effectively.
Yeah, I like demonstrations. Well, so there's kind of a big arc of things that can be done around testing. Everything from like you don't have to go. I know that a lot of people are worried about if I kind of hand over all the power to the AI computer system that does it all for me, and what if something goes wrong? And so because of that, they never take any of those steps towards that. They just keep it paper so that they're in control. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's baby steps that you can take. Like there's a distance from just paper, done it like we've always done it since 1985, and letting Rainmaker 1000% take control of everything. You can add baby steps there. So if you were going to go all the way to Rainmaker's doing everything, you can literally set up a profit generator so first and foremost, you can set up ranks, right? You should have your ranks set up. And we can talk about that on our Thursdays, how to set up ranks. You can set up appropriate attendance requirements for that rank before a student is marked as eligible to test. You can also set up appropriate time frames. So you could set up or the person has to be here for 30 days and has to have attended 10 classes or whatever it is for you. And then they pop up as eligible on a test. Then you can create a test in Rainmaker that says, hey, my next testing date is Friday 9, whatever that is, 9/9. And Rainmaker will say, based on the inputs that you've put in, here's all the people that are eligible. I think some people are worried, well, what if it doesn't get them? Well, you can add individual people. You can say, Rainmaker didn't think that Johnny was eligible, but Johnny is eligible. He just keeps forgetting to check in. So I'm going to add Johnny on a one-on-one basis, which is no worse than having a whole stack of papers and noticing Johnny isn't there because Johnny's mom didn't fill out the form, and having to call Johnny's mom and say, hey, that's no worse. It's just that now there's an electronic record. And for me, how many times have I wished when a kid comes up and says, I'm ready to test for brown belt, and I say, hey, buddy, you actually have to wait a little bit longer when you're going to brown belt, and they say, oh, no, we did. We tested the last time, and I am convinced that they didn't, and I go and look in my files, and this hasn't happened to me in years, by the way, because I use Rainmaker. I go and look in their files, and somehow that's the one testing form that got thrown in the trash. It's not in his file. How did this happen? And I'm like, and I have to take mom's word for it when I know she's wrong, or I have to call her a liar to her face, right? I'm like, I'm not willing to do that. So now Johnny gets the test ahead. So Rainmaker will put the testing date on Johnny's account. Johnny has, he tested for his gold belt, he tested for his green belt, he tested for all those ranks, and it keeps it in that system. So as long as you're using testing in Rainmaker, you never have to file anything else again. It's always there. And I guess the full iteration of it would be that you also can have Johnny's mom sign up using a profit generator, and Rainmaker will tell Johnny's mom, hey, sorry, your kid isn't eligible. And then Johnny's mom will call and say, hey, it wouldn't let me sign up. You sent the link out on the email and you said everybody sign up for testing, but it wouldn't let me sign up. And you can say, oh, that's because Johnny hasn't attended classes. And then you guys can have that discussion. Or it'll pop up and say, yes, Sally is eligible. Sally is eligible. And, here she can pay online for her whole testing fee. So like for me personally, I use a paper form, like an intent to promote form, because it has a little place where the kid has to sign with his little chicken scratch signing that I am a great martial arts student. But then we use that with our front desk person to double verify. Like she's got, 75 forms. That means she's got 75 payments and we're good to go, kind of a double system. But all the testing is actually done in Rainmaker. I don't personally use the profit generator because we have a front desk girl who takes care of it all. But if I was a one-man show, I would absolutely use that profit generator. So just kind of up to you. So should we look at how to set up ranks, Mr. Silva, or should we look at how to set up a test?
You're the one who's got the steps in from here to here. So what do you think should be done first?
Let's assume that everybody has gotten the ranks. And then if people message me and say, hey man, I don't have the ranks, then we can look at that maybe tomorrow on Thursday. But let's look at really quickly how to set up a test. I'm going to show you some of my previous tests so you can see how it works. And then tomorrow we'll actually create it together. That way it's a little bit less time spent today and you can see the overall view of what it's supposed to look like. Let me share my screen here. Maybe. Share screen. Oh, you're sharing. I can't share because you're sharing.
Okay.
Hey, there we go. All right, so y'all can see my Rainmaker dashboard. Look, we got a bad review. Somebody showed up. She's come to, I think this is her second class ever, and she signed up in like July. And so that's a good reason to keep people coming, because she showed up to a class that was changed. The time was changed. She showed up and goes, I didn't know classes were 30 minutes now. No, you showed up 30 minutes late. So that's definitely, and that's like full accountability. That's our fault. We didn't notice she hadn't been here. Why didn't we notice she hadn't been here? Why didn't she, she got all the emails. Why didn't we notice she wasn't opening the emails, et cetera, et cetera. So if we look at members right here, rank promotions, we can take a look at all these different things that we can do. What we'll do right now is we'll add or edit a promotion. I have all of these different ranking systems set up because for me personally, my 4 through 6 martial arts runs a little different belts than my 7+. My parkour is different. You know what I'm saying? Each of those things are different. So they all have different, even though they test on the same day, they have different setups. I want Rainmaker to, once I say yes, 4-year-old Sally, completed her test and passed, I mark her as passed and she's automatically updated. And I can in fact do that all at once. I can bulk add them. So in this particular case, you can check or uncheck the students who are only enrolled in the ranking system. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll just say my 7+ martial arts kid. So I'm only going to show students who are enrolled in that particular system. And let's look at a past test. Let's look at my last test. 525. Oh, yeah. So let's look at my spring test, and we'll take a look at it. So kids in this particular system who tested this last time, and I don't test every month. My model's a little different. I don't suggest that you guys do this unless 80% or more of your income is coming from somewhere other than your martial arts program. I think you should follow Mr. Silva's advice on testing and when you test. So don't look at my thing and say, oh, he only tests twice a year, we should do it like that. That's not the case. I disagree. So like, for example, this kid promoted, Brian promoted, Mary Alice promoted, Michaela promoted. They all promoted on this date. And it's really easy. So like, let's say that Max had his is going from brown or from red to brown. He's a red belt right now. He's going to brown. I make sure that his belt is the right size. So like kids usually sign up at a 00 or a 0. Well, they grow, right? By the time they're whatever. So I can just modify his belt size really quickly. I can say, yes, he's selected to test. And then he will pop up on a report that I pull. And it looks so much better at the front of the studio when I'm running the test or whoever's running the test, when they're looking at an iPad to see how many gold belts there should be versus shuffling through a bunch of papers. So it pulls up a report. And then even when someone comes into the front desk and says, hey, we're here late for the test, and Julie, our front desk girl, says, oh, no problem. You're selected to test. You've attended. I see them come in. I refresh my screen, and they pop up as their gold belt supposed to be attending. So it's pretty cool. And then after the test, I can say, yes, he passed. I can click this promote all button, and everybody's promoted. I can demote all if I accidentally click that. So it really is a very flexible system, but it's designed by martial arts school owners for exactly how we run our tests. So that's what a test should look like once you set it up properly. We can show you how to set up specific tests tomorrow. One of the other cool things here is you can assign it to a group. So like, let's say, for example, that you're a school that runs all of your ranks together, but you test them a little separately. So like, let's say, so like Jason, how do you do your tests? Do you do them, does everybody test at the same time, or do you like gold belts first and then like brown belts next, or how do you do it?
Ours is set up to where it's by their program. So
like basic, then black belt club or whatever.
Yeah. So we have our welcome, which is pretty much our basic class. They test at one time. Then we have our leadership program. They test at one time.
Right.
And then of course our advanced black belts, they test at a different time.
But are they all running on the same ranking system?
Yes, they all have the same ranking system.
Right. Rainmaker was smart enough. I think of the internet meme where the guy's like this. Rainmaker was smart enough to know that that's a thing. And let's say that I'm running 150 students on a single testing day. I have to, but I'm running basic first, leadership, then black belts, or however you're separating it out, except they're on the same ranking system. If I just pull all these kids up by rank, well, now I have a report that has 150 kids testing. That's not super helpful. I can assign certain kids. I can say, let's theoretically, Rowan is a black belt, Brian is a black belt, and Henry is going to black belt. I can take all those kids and I can create independent groups. And I have different groups set up, but you can label these groups as your black belt testers or your basic testers or whatever. And they're still going to have the same ranks, but I can say, assign these kids to, pretend this 7+ Karate Says black belt group, assign this to them, hit go, and then it will separate those out in your reporting so that when you're pulling up that testing report, you can have all the basic kids that are supposed to test and all the black belt kids that are supposed to test and all the leadership kids. So that's actually super helpful for me. Back when I was running a basic and a leadership, and then also when I ran like level 1, level 2, like for example, I tend to run like I'll run my white, gold, orange, and green all in a plug in a group, and then I'll run my blue, red, brown, black all like next. So for me, I separate those out into what we call level 1 and level 2. That way I've got, 40 kids on level 1 and 30 kids on level 2 all testing or whatever it is. So that grouping can be very helpful. I don't necessarily think that you guys should take your next test and just jump feet first into it. I think you should add it bit by bit so that you understand the pieces and what's going to work for you. Like I said, I don't use the profit generator for me personally, but I use everything else. Some people do use a profit generator. Let me show you guys really quickly what I mean by profit generator. So I point to this as if you guys can see it. Sorry. I can use what I'm seeing here on my screen. I can create a rank promotion. I'm not going to do it right now. We'll do it next time. I can create a rank promotion, okay? And then go to profit generators. And I can create a profit generator that they can sign up for online that is connected to a specific rank promotion. So that's the default one here. Register for rank promotion. It's going to expire. Let's say that my test was going to be Saturday the 8th. It's going to expire on the 9th. The rank promotion is $50 or whatever. I can say level 1 is $50 and level 2 is $75 or however much it's supposed to cost. I know that there's some owners that will say, hey man, but what if they pay for the wrong one? No, you just say, hey, it's actually more expensive than you put in there. Or you can make 2 separate profit generators. The date of the event is on the 8th, we said. You can put, testing, rank promotion for the month of whatever, and then hit next. And then it's going to ask you when the test is scheduled for. So this is it's for this particular, so you can create separate profit generators for your different groups. You can select individual students, but it's the test date that's scheduled for 9/9/2018. Super easy. And then, of course, you can send an email out to people automatically if you'd like to. I have a tendency to not do this. I go back and I don't send it out because I want to craft my message at my own pace. I like to have the profit generator created like a couple of days before and then craft the message separately. But you can see here that it still saved it. When I view the URL, this is the coolest thing. When I view the URL, it doesn't look like a regular profit generator. This is what it looks like. It says, hey, it's the rank promotion for the month of September. And I can search for kids who are supposed to be eligible based on all the parameters that I've already set up. So I can search for William. So like William McCollum. And then it's going to say, are you sure? Like it's going to make sure that that's the right, like this kid actually should be eligible because even if I set anything up, he's a black belt and he's like about to test for his next stripe. So I have to know what the email address is on file or what my phone number is to make sure that I'm actually going to pay for the right kid, that some grandma didn't sign up their kid for the wrong one, because we get that sometimes, hey, grandma's going to pay for belt test. Hey, cool. She signs up for the wrong William, that happens more than actually it's more often than not dads that are supposed to pay for it that screw it up. Let's not blame grandmas. So, but that's to me, that's one of the coolest things. I don't personally utilize it, but I do know that we will be looking forward to utilizing it within the next 12 months or so because it is just so slick. It's so easy to use. Questions on that? That's kind of a broad overview of going from paper and going all the way to letting Rainmaker do it. And we are going to create some of that over the next we have 4 weeks total that we're gonna kind of start with ranks, go to creating a test, go to creating a profit generator, and then I can't remember what our last one is, but who's on here? That's questions. Sal, you're walking around. Surely you got it. Sal, do you use this? Do you use your do you let Rainmaker take care of your testing, or do you still file the papers away, the papyrus with your scribe pencil?
No, we have it on Rainmaker.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Let me show you guys really quick. Let's pick a random karate kid who I know is tested.
Hey, there
Here,
you go.
Ella is tested.
Oh, give that to Finn. Oh, sorry.
So I can look at her ranks and see that she's young and she just started her 4 through 6 I think it was late 2017. So she tested for preschool martial arts on this day, December the 8th. And then she graduated up into our big kid class, and you can see that it says 4 through 6. It's not supposed to. It's actually 7+. She graduated up into our big kid class and tested for correct. No. She did test for goals. She graduated in big kid class after that. But I can see it's much easier for me to say, hey, Mom, here was the test date. Hey, Dad, here was the test date for her last time. Yes, she's eligible. And then if I got it wrong, or if I want to promote a kid, like sometimes a kid will come in maybe from another system or another school, it's super easy for me to just say, hey, promote them in my 7+ class to a blue belt. They are a size 00. They're probably a size 2. And let's say that I missed them on the last day. Actually, this was their test date. Or I can say they just joined today. This is their test date, and promote them on the spot. Makes it pretty easy. So, cool. Go ahead.
If we just kind of assume that, like Jason answered your question about testing, but most of the people that I do coaching with test 4 times a year. So it's on the quarter. This is one of the quarters. Each month they do a stripe testing. We kind of put it at the instructors that everyone must pass stripe testing. Not that you give the rank away, but if I'm teaching a student and he starts falling behind and he's got stripe testing in 2 weeks, I got to do what it takes to get him in, either extra help. And then we have recovery systems we call HIT classes. So if someone's behind number classes, as long as they come to Saturday for an open training HIT class. So we have makeup things in place. So theoretically, everyone should get a stripe every month. Every 3 months, now they've passed all their 3 stripes, they should be graduating. So in my school, everyone would graduate at the same time.
Got it.
So I would want to say, I guess, just have a list of everyone, and then people who I know are sick or can't make it or visiting someone, I would take off that list.
Then I say, and yeah, so work by process of elimination as opposed to adding based on their whether or not they're eligible, because everybody should be eligible, right?
Yeah, because we're going to have some type of recovery system to make sure.
Yeah. So then in that case, I wouldn't do this. I would if it's everybody. Let's say you don't have kickboxers you're dealing with, you don't have after school, because here's what happens if I uncheck this, it brings up everybody.
Oh yeah.
So like all of my after schoolers, all of my everybody, and it's really hard to
Yeah, I don't want the moms coming for the kickboxing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you definitely still should go. You definitely still should do it by ranking system. But what you would do in that case, and this is okay to do, is in your ranks. Oh, where are my ranks? There they are. In your ranks, you would remove dang it. I haven't done this. I haven't set up my ranks in a while. Let's do this again. Add a rank. There we go. In your ranks, you would remove these minimums. That and that. I would just move it to 0 and 0. I'm not going to save that because that's not for me, but I would move those weeks from last test and minimum classes to 0, and then every child will register as eligible every single time. And then you can, so like when it says selected to test, you can check everyone. So let me go back to that real quick. You can go here. You can go down here and you can, so like this is only got a couple of kids, but it'll set every kid because everyone is technically eligible. Select all of them and then go back and unselect them if for some reason some kid didn't get ranked like they're supposed to.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
That make it real easy.
It is. And that is, okay, I'm glad you said that because it occurs to me, that's how I started. When I went from my paper system to this, that it was too much for me to wrap my head around. So if you're like, oh my God, this looks so technically complicated. First of all, I'm going to walk you through it on Thursday. Like we're going to go slow, step by step. Don't hesitate to raise your hand and type in the box and say, hey, I don't get it. Slow down, message me personally. I'm happy to answer those questions. But second of all, don't think that I just got it on the first try because I didn't. I actually started with putting zeros in there. That's the reason I know that is because I put zeros in there and every single kid is eligible. And then I went and individually selected that kid's eligible, that kid's eligible. And we started doing that in like 2016 and then kind of slowly moved our way up to what we do now, which is knowing that those kids have come to class. And we actually have a problem now in that our after school kids aren't checking in very effectively. They're running straight from our activity room out to karate and then back because we run a tight ship on get your booty onto the floor. Do not pass go. Do not you can't get a drink, get to your dot. And we're not sending them to the iPad first. So now we have kids that aren't, checking in, so that we probably need to go back to putting everybody in there and then deselecting people.
Excellent.
Yeah.
On that page for the test list, it says print this list.
Yeah.
And if you test this list, it brings up another page, but there's no place to print it.
Let me look. On the order ranks page.
Okay, promotion for Karate Kids.
Mm-hmm.
You have a button that says print this list. Right below it says order ranks from past. Right below that has print this list.
Yeah.
Okay, you put print this list, it brings up a list, but there's no way to print it.
I
can see it.
So like if you whatever browser you're using, I think what they mean by print this list. So like clicking print this list is what I use when I have my iPad. So pretend that this phone that my niece smashed, even though I bought her an $800 phone, pretend that this phone is an iPad. I don't know why she took the cover off. She's 13. When I am looking here and someone is added. So someone is like, all of a sudden Cohen is now eligible. When I refresh this list, I don't know if it's going to work now because it's back in time. When I refresh this list, it pops up here. So the list it's a live list, if that makes sense. It's HTML. It's on the internet. And what you would want to do is you would want to go file, print like this. And then it'll preview what the list will look like. Does that make sense? As opposed to like it's not going to spit out an Excel file for you because it needs to be able to be updated as a web page itself. Is that Curtis that was talking?
Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense, Curtis? Just like
when the new window opens, it doesn't have the menu to do all the print stuff.
Yeah. No, just hit Control P or go up to the top. What are you using? Chrome or Safari or Firefox or Internet Explorer? What are you using?
Firefox. Okay,
so if you're using Firefox, I'm not using Firefox, but you should be able to go up to the top and hit File and then Print.
Yeah, but it doesn't. The page doesn't have that on there.
Yours, it's a Firefox thing. Open it. Try it in Chrome.
Oh, all right, I'll do that later.
Yeah, just it's not a bad. So that the page itself, you're correct. The page itself doesn't have a print button. It's because they need it to be able to be updated on the fly. You would just what it's doing is it's creating a page that doesn't have all this Rainmaker header ranks. It's creating a page that is going to be more printer friendly, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Control P brings up the print button.
Right. There you go. Exactly. And it's just going to use up less of your ink is why it's a print friendly version.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Cool, sir.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So on Thursday, you should get an email if you're on my email list. Shoot. I don't think I'll send it out tomorrow morning. And but I think some people are already registered. Like if you are subscribed to my workshops, every time I create a new link, it sends a notification to you and says, "Hey, William's created a new link for this next Thursday." So so a bunch of people are already registered, I think. So get on there and we'll start at the beginning, I think, based on what we've talked about here. Let me ask you this. Jason, do you have ranks set up in your system?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Are you you understand how they work and everything? You're comfortable with that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Curtis, do you have ranks set up and you're comfortable with it or no?
I got it set up, but I'm not exactly. I'm trying to use it, and it seems to be almost working for me.
I'll run a poll maybe in one of my groups and say, hey, that way I can get a better feel for, maybe Jason and Sal and you guys know what's going on, but maybe everybody else doesn't when you just start at ranks, or maybe everybody's got ranks and we can move on to this other stuff. Cool.
Good, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, William.
See you later, guys.
Very good. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.